I couldn't resist the opportunity to talk to Gayle Manchin about some issues surrounding education in our state when I heard she was going to be coming through town, coming through Wheeling on her way to Bethany. So I'm here with Gayle Manchin, who is a member of the West Virginia State Board of Education and also is the wife of one of our senators. So hi, Mrs. Manchin, thanks so much for coming.
Well, hi Sarah, and I'm Gayle.
Gayle, thanks for coming.
So it's interesting as you were sort of introducing me that I think of myself almost as a has-been, that when you get to my age, it's all the things you have done. And so and what I have done throughout my life has always been around education and children and families. My community work and nonprofit volunteer work was always around children and families. But my degree was in language arts and education, and then I got a master's in reading, and then went back a few years later and got a second master's specialization in technology education leadership.
Wonderful.
So that was my background, and I taught in Marion County schools, and then finished my teaching career in Fairmont at Fairmont State College. So I really had a nice spectrum, particularly secondary, so what used to be junior high, high school, and then college. And when we moved to Charleston, Joe was Secretary of State and then became governor. I worked with an AmeriCorps Promise Fellow program, which again was all about bringing people into the community and raising the quality of life. So those have really been my passions. And when Joe appointed me to the State Board of Education, I saw that as an opportunity to really bring all those past experiences to the table.
Great. And how long have you been on the State Board of Education?
I have served my term.
Okay.
I have served 9 years
Wow.
on the State Board, so we have 9 members, 9 years,
Okay.
3 from each congressional district.
Okay.
And so, yes, I have done my tour of duty.
So in your 9 years, I imagine you probably got a really good view of the state as a whole. And I think of you as someone who probably has a very valuable statewide perspective on education here in West Virginia.
I certainly made a commitment to do that.
Okay.
I had the time and energy to commit really 100% of my time to not only the board meetings and board work, but getting to know the state better, getting to know the different districts better. And so, yes, it was a valuable education to me just in my term. So whatever I gave back to the board and to the state was not nearly what the state gave me in terms of that experience and the people I met and the wonderful teachers and students across the state. It was wonderful.
Great. Well, one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, given your statewide perspective, what are some of the things that you have seen over the years that lead to a county school system being particularly effective for their students? So either best practices or initiatives that you think really have an impact on student achievement.
Well, you know, it's almost like the state board is the macrocosm and your counties then are the microcosm. And while they are different, there certainly are some things and some commonalities that I would stress. One of them is, I think, people that commit. Now, the difference, of course, county, you choose to run. You put your name on the ballot. You commit your time and effort to this. So that is a little different than being appointed by the governor. That commitment is important. But I think it's important as you make that commitment to really reflect on why you're making the commitment. What is it that you want to be different? Hopefully what you want to be different is student achievement for your students and the quality of your schools, more value added for teachers. It should be big goals. Where I see problems are where people run for any office, but particularly for Board of Education, and they're one issue. They don't want consolidation.
So that's why they run.
Or they don't want consolidation is just one of those easy ones to throw out. That's the wrong reason to run for anything. You need to always keep the bigger picture in mind. So I think that's important. I think the other thing that's important, that you have a diversity across boards. I think diversity in gender, age, profession, experiences, because what I have found on our state board, the more diversity there was on our board, the better our results, because we had different perspectives and we shared experiences with each other. And so at the end of the day, our solution or our answer, I think, was a much richer, better developed answer or policy for what we were trying to do. So I think those are things that are very much the same, both at a state level and a county level. I would say for anyone, it's about relationships. I think it's important for board members to build relationships among themselves. That doesn't mean you can't differ in your opinion. You can't differ in how you vote. You can't differ on maybe what you want to see at the end of the day. But having respect for one another, having a good relationship, and then having that same good relationship with the superintendent. I think parents and community leaders need to see that everyone's working in tandem.
Yes, I agree.
That it is a group effort. When you start seeing divisiveness, I think people get very apprehensive. They get nervous, and then they get worried that what are we worried about? Are we really worrying about our children, or are we worried about all these extras? So those are little things that I certainly have seen. And across the state, as I watched counties that were doing well, you saw people that liked each other, they liked working together, they had hard decisions, sometimes very tough financial decisions. You had to close a school that you really didn't want to have to close, but you just had to do this. But because people stood together and supported one another, I think the outcome then with the public was always much better.
Yeah, that makes sense. Great. Well, that's really it for me. That is so helpful. Thank you for your perspective, and thanks for coming through Wheeling and visiting us.
Well, Sarah, good luck to you.
Thank
As
you.
I said, if it's one thing that Joe and I appreciate, it's when you step out there and put your name on the ballot. That's a big commitment, and it's a sacrifice for your family and for you. So good for you in doing it, and best wishes and good luck to you.
Thank you very much.